Hi, it's Disney Girl here for my Dumbo predictions video for Disney's Magic Kingdoms game. So I think that this will be a collection that will be added to the game in 2019. Now I am thinking that this would be a great one to have as a limited time event, especially because the live action movie is coming out this year on March 29th, my birthday, yay! So I think they could have this event start as early as Valentine's Day, or else they're going to save it until maybe the start of March 29th. Now that would mean they would have to give us something to do in between the Tower Challenge and that limited time event. So that is why I'm a little bit confused on what they could actually do if they were to start it in March. Now the thing is they could wait a little bit later until maybe mid-April or something like that, but then I would be thinking that they might want to add some characters maybe from the live action. But again, that is not something that Disney Magic Kingdoms usually does. They usually stick to the original films. Now, Wreck-It Ralph being the odd exception, however, it is an animated movie, so I think that was probably the exception there. So I'm really excited anyways to do this prediction video, so let's go ahead here and get started. Alright, so our first character, obviously, that I think would be added to the kingdom would be Dumbo himself. Now, I think there are a few things for Dumbo in terms of costumes. I think that is a really big thing. He could either come with absolutely nothing, or he could come looking like this with the little yellow hat and everything. So I think that it could go either way. He'll either come with nothing and then this could be his costume, or else they would add a costume as being the clown costume. Now they could have 3 costumes in it. Now I am not going to show you guys the clown costume, but if you have seen the Dumbo movie, you will know that's the one where when he's standing up on top of the building and he's about to jump or fly or whatever Dumbo decides he's going to do, he has that clown face on, and so I think that that could be a look that they incorporate as a costume at some point. So obviously Dumbo is what we know him as. The other name for him is Jumbo Jr., which takes me to the next possible character. Jumbo Jr.'s mother, obviously Mrs. Jumbo. I think she would be a great addition to this collection, and she's kind of important, I feel. Like if we don't have her, then I think that kind of ruins a lot of the storyline that we could have with Dumbo. So she is not one of those characters that we see that much in the movie, and there's not that much that she actually says or does, but she is a huge part and a huge influence on the storyline of the movie. So I think it would be really important to include her in this event. Then naturally we have got probably the main talker in Dumbo, which is Timothy Q. Mouse, and so I think he would be a fantastic character. So I think this would actually make our very first mouse in the kingdom. I thought it would have been Jacques and Gus Gus from Cinderella, but I think it is going to end up being Timothy Q. Mouse. I don't think we have any other mouses in the kingdom. If I have forgotten a mouse, you can let me know in the comments below, but I don't think I have. So I think he won't have a costume, Timothy, but he will come with his little red ringmaster looking suit on, which actually takes me to the next character, the ringmaster himself. Now I think that he is not a huge character in the movie, but he is vitally important. And if you guys think about it, if they want to include some sort of tie into the live action, they definitely need to add the ringmaster, because it looks like the ringmaster is a very, very large part of the live action film. So I think that this would be a great way. And two, guys, there's not enough characters for the Dumbo movie if we don't add the ringmaster. I feel I don't even have any extra characters. I'm literally just thinking there's 7 characters that I can think of, and I have no extra spares to fill in here. But you guys can always leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will make sure I read all of them and get back to you if you guys have any other ideas, obviously. So let's go ahead and continue to the next character. I think we're actually going to get Mr. Stork. Now Mr. Stork, you might go, who on earth is that? It's this guy. I couldn't find a very good quality image that would make him look like he belongs in the kingdom, but there's not that much out there. Actually, Dumbo was a very, very difficult one to do, to find images for, just because there's just not that much out there. It's really hard. But anyways, at least in terms of good quality images. But Mr. Stork, I think, would be adorable if he flies into the kingdom holding little tiny Dumbo. I think that would be the cutest thing ever. So anyways, there is Mr. Stork, a very, very important character in the very start of Dumbo. He doesn't really appear that much after the beginning, but again, he is very important. Now, let's continue to the next character, which I think is going to be Jim Crow. So Jim Crow, guys, he is the one that lets Dumbo know and makes him believe that he can fly with that magical feather. So I think he has a very, very important role in a limited time event. If they do add him to the kingdom, I think there's lots of dialogue that can be done in terms of him helping Dumbo fly or finding a magical feather or stuff like that. So I think he is really important to everything. Now, the next character that I have actually is the elephant matriarch. Now, you guys might be going, what? Who is that? It is the elephant that kind of runs the show. She is the one who kind of controls the other elephants and makes them believe that Mrs. Jumba is actually a disgrace as an elephant just because she got upset about Dumbo's ears and some kid picking on him and stuff, which I thought she had the motherly reaction, and she is an elephant, right? I mean, I know that the matriarch is composed, but think about it. If you had a child, what would you do if someone was pulling on their ears? I'm sure she would have a lot to say about that. And probably she would hurt them quite badly too. Alright, so those are my 7 characters. So Dumbo, Timothy Mouse, Mrs. Jumbo, Mr. Stork, the Ringmaster, Jim Crow, and the Elephant Matriarch. So those are my 7 predicted characters. If you have any further ones, you can let me know in the comments below. Now guys, if they were, I'm just going to throw this out there, if they were going to not have Dumbo as a limited time event, which I don't think they're going to do, but if they could do it, and they could just add a few characters to the main storyline. So if they did Dumbo as a main storyline, I think they would only add Dumbo, Timothy Mouse, Mrs. Jumbo, and possibly Mr. Stork, and sort of just leave it at that. And then maybe in a tower challenge or something later, they can add like the Ringmaster, Jim Crow, or the Elephant Matriarch. But I don't think that's going to happen. I do think they are going to make it a limited time event. Now again, there's not like a lot of characters that are of great importance in this movie, so there's a lot of side characters, which would be the only reason why I think they would add this to the main storyline instead of a limited time event. But since the Dumbo movie is coming out, it makes sense that we do an event, guys. Okay, so let's now move on to attractions. But the first one, I'm not sure if they'll actually add it to the kingdom, but it is a real attraction in Fantasyland at Disney. It's called Dumbo the Flying Elephant. So this is what it looks like. I think that they definitely could add this, and I think that would be a fantastic looking attraction. Again, I don't know how that would work in terms of characters going to visit and everything, but maybe if they don't add this to the limited time event, it would be maybe a really good one to have in the Elixir shop at a later time. But again, they usually try and incorporate attractions that are actually at Disney, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyways, I think that that could be one of the attractions for the event. Now, the next one I am thinking is going to be the train or else the pink elephants. So I think the train would be great because they could definitely do a really, really cool attraction. I think it would be quite big though, which wouldn't be great for our land issues right now, but I definitely think that the train or maybe the pink elephants, they get to have like some giant pink elephant that they go into, and I don't know, it's all swirly and changes colors from pink to purple, something a little bit mystical and yet a little bit out of the ordinary, sort of like we have in our dreams. Dreams don't always make sense, and obviously the pink elephants sort of, in my mind, represent that. Now, the other thing they could do is this circus tent. Now, I know there's a circus tent already in the kingdom, which I definitely feel is sort of what symbolizes that Dumbo is present in Disney Magic Kingdoms already. Even though he's not officially in the kingdom, I feel like that's our symbol that he is coming. So I think we're going to get some sort of big circus tent, and I think that would be a great attraction because a lot of, well, pretty much all the characters can go and visit that. So the only 2 characters that I don't think would maybe go to the circus tent might be Mr. Stork and Jim Crow. Now, again, those are the only 2 that maybe they couldn't go to the tent, but I think the tent is a pretty general one that pretty much every character could use. So that might even be a great first attraction for the start of the event, because we always need one right after we bring in our first character and stuff, so they have somewhere to go. Now, I do have a fourth attraction here, but this sort of ties in with the second one that I said about the train, would be the circus cage with wheels. Now, if you're like, what on earth is she talking about? Okay, that is actually what it's called. It's just called the circus cage with wheels. And if you type it into Google, which I've done just to confirm that that was the name I was going to use, it actually is where Mrs. Jumbo spends her time. That is what it looks like. So pretty much, that's sort of where I tied that into the possible train thing. So maybe my pink elephant thing would be then my fourth. I could move that down and have that as my spare attraction. So it's either going to be a train or like a circus cage with wheels. Something that obviously Mrs. Jumbo can spend a lot of her time, because that is sort of where she goes. So again, if they don't have her as a character, they would have to have a circus cage with wheels so that Dumbo can go and visit his mother. So something like that. Now, let's talk about concessions. So there are a few ideas I have for concessions. I think that having maybe Dumbo's ears hat stand, or just a hat, like the little yellow hat, I think would be really cute. I think it would look something like Goofy's hat concession. I know that that is already in the kingdom and it would look very, very similar, but I feel like it would be definitely a good one to incorporate. I know Goofy's is called Goofy's hat stand, so I feel like it could be similar to that, but in yellow. Because Goofy's hat stand has like ears below it as well. So here is an image of Goofy's hat stand so you guys can actually get to see. So I'm thinking it could be maybe sort of look like that, but just with gray ears, obviously, and a little yellow hat. So I think that that could be something that would be really awesome. Now, another one I thought of would be Dumbo's balloon. Okay, so Dumbo could have his own balloon, or maybe some sort of animal balloon could be there instead. So maybe they could have different animals that they would give out, maybe like even 3 strands, which would give you 3 different balloons, so the kids could walk around with something a little bit more fun and colorful. So I think that's what they could do. I guess if they wanted something a little bit out of the ordinary and didn't have any reference maybe to the pink elephants at all, they could definitely add maybe the pink elephant balloon. So again, they have a few options for balloons, or styles of the balloon depending on how much they do, but I think that some sort of animal balloon would be really great. Now, the third one would be a clown mask. Now, I'm not sure how a lot of you guys are going to feel about this, but it's more of a face paint station, I would say, but I know there's really not a lot of that in the kingdom right now. I know the Lion King has a mask shop, so the kids walk around with a mask of either Timon or Pumbaa, so that is sort of more what I would think of as a stand. So this is the concession stand here. It's called the Lion King Mask Shop, and so I think it would look something like that, but for Dumbo, or a clown, you know what I mean, like Dumbo clown looking, that the kids could walk around with. Again, I'm not sure how you guys feel about the clown mask, especially because of that ridiculous stuff that was going on a while ago with clowns, and clowns kind of got a little bit creepy and stuff, but it is the circus, and clowns are part of the circus, so I think that they could do something a little bit simple and very innocent looking, or very amusing. So I think that would be lots of fun. So now on to decoration. So I think the first decoration that they could do, which would be really cool, would be Dumbo's statue, since now he's famous because he can fly. I think that would be a lot of fun. Another one I thought of would be a stack of elephants. I don't know if you guys remember the scene from the movie where the matriarch is on a ball on the bottom and there's a whole bunch of elephant stuff. I think they could have one like that. Maybe the elephants are sort of stabilizing on a ball. Maybe they even rock front and back a little bit. I know it might make it a little bit bigger of a decoration, but it could be lots of fun. And then the other one I thought of would be animal balloons. So that would be more if they didn't have that as a concession, but they could just have a stack of like just animal balloons sort of just floating in the park. I think that could be kind of funny. Yeah, so that is sort of my thought for decorations. Again, if you guys have any feedback, just leave it in the comments. Now, costumes. I already sort of talked about that at the beginning for Dumbo. I think that depending on what Dumbo comes in, he could have a few different options. Well, I think really up to 3. There's not many more for him that you can do. but I think the clown one will definitely be, if I had to pick one, I think the clown would be what Dumbo's costume would be for sure. So now all that leaves us to talk about is the parade float. So we're looking at, I think, two possible things. Again, depending on what they do with attractions and stuff like that, I think that will sort of depend on what the parade float looks like. I think they could do it as the circus cage with wheels, or like a train or something like that. Again, sort of depending on what they decide to do with the attractions, or they could have that as the pink elephant. So just have this giant pink elephant. They could do something with Dumbo as well, but I think that could be a lot of Dumbo, especially if they have the Dumbo, the flying elephant attraction that is a real attraction at Disney. I think that might be a little bit overkill on Dumbo, but again, it is possible that they do that. But I think that there are a lot of different options that they could do there for sure. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they do. So I think that pretty much covers everything. We talked about the 7 characters, definite 3 attractions with a possibility of a 4th. Concessions, we had 3 of those. Decorations, we had 3 as well. And then 1 to 2 costumes along with the parade float. So that pretty much covers everything that you get out of a limited time event. And I especially think for this one, there's like obviously no comfy cozy costume or anything from the reference to Wreck-It Ralph that they can add. Like there's really nothing like that. So I think it's going to be a pretty standard, pretty simple limited time event, unless they decide to add something else. I think that will be it. I know there'll be a secondary storyline as well. Now that might be a little bit tricky on what they decide to do for that. I think the Lion King would be a really fun one to have, just because it has to do with animals and stuff like that. But I think that would be the most suited for the Dumbo limited time event. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you thought of this video. Again, if you have any inputs, please leave them in the comments there so that other people can also read them and like them and stuff like that, or give their own feedback on what they think could be in the kingdom next. So I'm really excited about that. I have lots more prediction videos to come. Just a little bit of a sneak peek I've got already done. I've got 101 Dalmatians, I've got Hercules, Tarzan, Lady and the Tramp, I've got Princess and the Frog ready. So I've got lots of future ones. If you guys are looking forward to that, make sure to give this video a big Mickey thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell for post notifications, and we will see you guys for the next Disney's Magic Kingdoms game video. Bye!